Hello, BookTube, and hello, literary gladiators. I'm Mark Richardson from Richardson Reads, my own BookTube channel, and I'm thrilled that I was asked to do the alphabet challenge with D. In this case, as in Diplomatic Immunity by Lois McMaster Bujold. It's a snowy day. Been out shoveling and snowblower, using a snowblower. I live in Vermont, and we got dumped on last night. This is the third week in March, and it's still coming down. This little room's off my porch, and hopefully the little heater I use isn't making too much noise. But it's an unheated room, and I use it as a little hideaway. And I walked across the main part of the porch, and yep, we got to go out and shovel and snowblow again, but it's pretty out. So it's a nice time of year. March is always a bit of a challenge, right? And there's an old saying that when the robins show up, which I did see them last week, and everything was grass. They got to get their got to get 3 snowstorms in afterwards. So I guess this is the first. So anyhow, it's really pretty out, and again, so literary gladiators. I was really excited when I got the message that they'd like me to. Here, let me fix something here. My computer's going wonky. To let me be involved in this. I've been watching that my channel, I guess it is, will have its 7th anniversary in June. And of course, they were already established before I ever showed up. So I've been watching Literary Gladiators for a long, long time. And I've interacted with things like Josh's foodie tags, which I used to love, I still love. And had fun doing some of those. But to get to the book, now Lois McMaster Bujold wrote Diplomatic Immunity in 2002, and it's part of this larger world, the Miles Vorkosigan world. Miles is the main character, and he is from a world Barayar. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that correctly, but when you're reading, who cares? And it's a tough, almost social Darwinism type of world where there's assassinations, plots, family against family. It's like a great houses planet, and Miles is from a powerful family, closely related to the imperial family, and these are plot-driven books. The series. I've never read them in order. I always just grab a volume when I see it, and I'll sit down and read it. And it's never been a problem. And in this case, the same was true. And Miles is a baby in an incubator, or however it was, or with his mom. I can't remember the details on that too much, but he did get poisoned. And he's always had health issues since he was a baby. Brittle bones, he's very small, and on his world, all those things are just abhorrent. But his world is changing because of contact with the outside planets and different solar systems and cultures. And that's really the backdrop of these books, is that there are different cultures and there's a lot of hostilities. On his own planet, of course, not of course, but on his own planet, anybody with a mutation is just seen as horrific and terrifying, and Miles reaps the benefit, if you can call it that, of that attitude. And he learns to be a little more understanding, but he lives by his wits. A lot of espionage in some of these novels, and dealing with other types of people and characters and different imperial groups. So it's quite interesting. What I've always liked about them, even though they're plot-driven books, the characters are fantastic. and the character development and the underlying tensions and the fact that Miles is a little more open and understanding while at the same time being an action hero. So this book, Miles is coming home with his new wife, Ekaterin, and they on a delayed honeymoon. He's now a diplomat. He's sort of like the hand of the emperor. I think Gregor is the emperor's name. It's a cousin or some relative, and so Miles has immense power. He's side. They have to go to Quadi space because the emperor sends a message. Something's going on. And the Quadis, if you read the novel Falling Free of hers, are mutants, I guess is what the Borians would call them, who were workers that were developed to work in 0G. So instead of legs, they have an extra set of arms, and they can move. And they're very strong. And they're not anything a Borian person would treat well, or anybody else in human space had treated well. And when they became obsolete because of technology, they stole a ship and went out into what's called Quadi space. And on a space station that's half got artificial gravity and the other part doesn't, they set up a world for themselves. And that's where Miles is sent, and his new wife, Ekaterin. So, getting a weather warning. They get there, the Borian fleet is sitting off the Quadi world, and don't forget, these are very warlike people, Miles's people. And then the group they're escorting of Vor ships, merchant ships and all that, are impounded. A Borian security guy has gone missing, and there's blood on the ground, and then the adventure begins. And I won't break all that down for you. Just let's say that Miles meets an old mercenary friend. Its name, and the book is very clear with that, is Belle Thorne, a hermaphrodite, and a wonderful character. Adventurer, of course, is the backdrop here. She's an incredibly effective mercenary. She's become sort of the head security type person for this Quadi artificial world, and has fallen in love with one of the Quadis who is a dancer. And adventure after adventure ensues, and it starts off like a mystery novel. It's just like reading a regular mystery, and then the bigger picture starts to emerge and almost turns into a spy story, because the murder and everything's going on is because there's this empire called Setaganda, and they have these people who work that are sexless and are almost like servants, but more than that. You'd have to read the book to get the nuances. Who's gone rogue. And when Miles tracks him down, the station's under threat from poison and stuff. They found out this rogue character has stolen something of great value, and Miles's homeworld and the Setagandans are almost at war. Fleets are going. Miles gets poisoned. Belle Thorne gets poisoned, and it's a race to avert war. And in the end, our heroes, because it is a series, do survive. There's a lot of plot twists, like I said, I love all the characters in this. The characters are fantastic, and I don't want to ruin this for you, but you'll grow to love the characters more than you would in most of these action-packed stories. And Miles and Belle are healed, and there's a interesting outcome. There's a lot of twists in this, which I really love, but they've been injured, they've been damaged, and that some of that's not going away, and that's where we end. So it's a wonderful, wonderful story. I highly recommend the series. I never read them in order, so I don't think it's necessary, but some might disagree with me. And It's diplomatic immunity. Now, I'm not a big blurb guy, but I looked at the blurbs on the back of this, and I found them interesting. So the first one's by Anne McCaffrey, the Dragon Riders of Pern author. It's another winter with all kinds of unexpected adventures. And here's the interesting line. Georgette Heyer has met her match for intrigue and style. A sprightly conducted romance with twists and turns that could only happen in the Vorkosigan-inspired novel. Boy, can she write. Now, I agree with the parts I know about boy, can she write. And I know who Georgette Heyer is, and I know she's one of those authors from the 20th century that it's not going away. I mean, I think Folio Society just started putting out beautiful editions of her books, her romances. Regency romances, I believe they are. And I've never read them, but I know her reputation because I'm a librarian, and they still go out of my library, well, almost a century later. But so I was really interested to hear that from an author that I like. I know authors do blurbs all the time, which is why I don't read them usually, but I found that interesting. And I thought the fact that, well, I don't read romance novels, and if this is what they're like, they sound wonderful. So just an interesting thing. And like I say, this novel came out in 2002. The world's changed quite a bit since then. But the way that Bujold deals with feminism, gender roles and identities is handled deftly. There's no drumbeat of, how would you say, drumbeat of conviction in the sense that she's trying to tell you how to think. She makes you love the character and get caught up in the moment and admire bravery and wit and sacrifice. In this case, some sacrifice. So wonderful, wonderful novel. Can't recommend it enough. Again, thank you to Literary Gladiators and to all of you. And that was The Letter D.